So the last one. How do you compare the metrics, as we talked about, like we label load 4.5 million assets a year, and we know from 10,000 assets a week, we move to 10,000 assets a day. Same principle in robots. Supposedly, robots, there's 5,000 square meter per hour, whereas humans do 1,000 to 2,000 square meter per hour. But the question comes to the quality, right? Humans do, I assume, better job compared to robots, so there's a question mark. But that is that thing, what we can do. And then comes with the leverage of, okay, what's the cost of it? We talked about the cost of it, which is like robots has, in ChatGPT thing, you need to have a license, and then you have to then have, if you're connecting data points, language models, you need to have hosting and XYZ costs, which not necessarily you give it to a human. Human has, payroll cost plus benefits, XYZ. So if you look the same principle in robots, we have it is a machine. So you need to charge the machine, and there is a one-off implementation cost and it's a software and update. So it's not like a straightforward lift and drop. You replace a human with a robot, or you replace an engineer task with this. There is also a cost that you need to collectively come out with. But either way, if it's a repetitive, predictable thing, it can help you to do it. One of the interesting questions that Vanessa posted was, as the technology gets adopted, there are more and more assets that are coming into the picture, which was not the assets that we were maintaining in SFG20, which meant the robot cleaning, for example, or the new ages of sensors, new ages of lighting, etc. And it will be interesting to see how SFG20 adopts itself to include all these specialist assets, because the assets are going to be clever and clever and clever, which means the assets are going to be clever for us to enable the data, but then somebody needs to manage that clever assets, which we haven't worked out what's the code and what's the RAM green and stuff. So it's a very interesting dynamics that's going to come out with it. So primarily, the point that Vanessa pointed is there is a space for machine, and then you have the technical experts, and finally the cleaners. And it's not a full and love story, but there is a space for that. So I quickly did it, Vanessa. I know you are there. I hope it's justified. And applying that, it's not just building maintenance, it's also related to cleaning industry and stuff. Before I get into the audience question, I just want to go to the panel and ask them. It's a quick fire round. So quick fire, yeah, 30 seconds. So
that's a hint.
So I think I have 5 minutes, and let me do my best to get the most of this, so that we could pick up some of the questions that come out. Number one, with Mike, Neil, and Jack in the order. So one thing you wish you had known earlier about Gen AI.
I think I wish I'd known a year earlier that ChatGPT 3 was there, because I didn't pick it up until 3.5.
Well done. Good one. Neil?
That ChatGPT is just the tip of the iceberg.
Nice.
Yeah, I played about with different platforms. I wish I'd done that a little bit earlier to see the power. Exactly.
I think initially it was just like another hype that comes in, like how we talk about it, but then nobody realized it's there for us to. So that's good learning. So, okay. We already talked about the most surprising learning. What's the one advice you want to give to someone who's starting out? And I know majority of you might be frustrated. Hey, I still don't have the space to do it, but you haven't got it because the industry is still exploring. Trials are coming, and McKinsey survey says maybe 1% to 2% globally have actually done something useful with AI, which means we are among the 99% who are still working with it. So, advice for those starting out, Mike.
I think it's really think about what your problem is. This point's already been made, but that is it. Think about your problem. As a programmer, that's what we do all the time. We hear from clients, oh, I want a red button. And I don't hear I want a red button. I hear I've got a problem that I'm trying to solve. So I'm trained to do that. Everyone else needs to get trained to do that, because you need to be talking to AI that way.
Correct. Good one.
Don't be afraid to reach out to other people who are doing it and ask for help.
Exactly.
Colleagues, peers, other people you've never met before. Don't be afraid to reach out.
That's it.
1 in 10 will come back to you, and that one person will make the difference.
That's brilliant advice, because what Gen AI has done is it's pretty much democratized the landscape. So what that meant is that there could be this one person who has done a tool that a big business does not got it. And it's important to be open, collaborative, to learn. That was a beautiful point. Thank you. Jack?
Yeah, I'd just add to that as well, but I think AI sort of ambassadors, which I referenced before, assemble that team.
Yep.
More hands, more eyes, should in theory accelerate.
Got it. So I'll just give my thoughts, and then we will go then for some questions. I think we still have 3 minutes, and I'm sure we could get something. So my final thoughts. I mean, like, it's here for stay. Whether you like it or not, it's going to be there. And 10 years from now, you'll be thinking, what AI? It's becoming part and parcel of your, it could be maintenance, it could be your life, it could be in your phone. As you know, it's coming in with all the phones that comes up, Samsung, Apple, you name it, it's all there. So be curious. So it starts with you, your team, and as Jack pointed, create a framework, and as Neil pointed, unlearn. Mike pointed, go experiment, test it out. Use cases are out there. So there are a lot of literatures available there. We have trained over 850 data scientists this year, and there is the AI Accelerator Fund that the government has given. So you could go and find data. You can learn data science. 50% is funded by the government. Look for some trainers, including us and any other persons, where you could learn about it. You don't write it off, I'm an engineer, I'm an FM. Everybody will be using data one form or the other. Having an understanding of data, how to use it, how to keep it, it's going to take you miles ahead. Again, your experience with AI, it's going to be unique to you. Just because somebody is using AI, just company is using AI, doesn't mean it's going to be applicable for you. There are certain industries where if you use AI, you are not even included, like a regulated industry, defense, nuclear, cybersecurity, etc. That's threat. We don't want you to go back and use Gen AI to maintain a nuclear asset, for example, right? It's something. So think it through. It's just because everybody is using, not for you, and you can make a decision within your company. We are not going to use it. That's still valid. I don't want you to say it's going to be everybody needs to do it, right? Just be, it's just for you. So we already talked about AI as a trusted friend. Keep asking questions. It won't judge you. That's the main thing, right? You can swear at it, whatever you want, but it'll say sorry and it'll come back. How often do you have that? When it's a one-way conversation, you can swear at somebody and the other person doesn't swear. Don't try it to their wife, by the way. So AI is accelerating tech. Regardless whether you use AI or not, there will be adoption. Ideally, we should have talked about automation and AI. You are going to appreciate a lot of data, and you are going to use a lot of data within your company, and you might move away from Excel into something little tools. That's a success. Don't just write it off. I'm not using Gen AI, but if you're curious, if you're collecting some data, if you're using something, that's a success. So what have you learned from this? And before I think I still have a minute. So what you learned from this session, and now you have listened to us. Option one, you're still unsure about AI. I'm so confused now. It could be option one. Number two, I listen to this panel and I feel less overwhelmed. I feel calm. I'm fine. And number three, I'm ready to explore and learn more. And number four, I'm excited and will get some trials in place for 2025. So put the polls in and we can do it. So again, at this stage, I just want to thank my panel, Mike, Vanessa, Neil, and Jack. Thank you for joining, and thank you, audience, for joining. And also, any follow-up questions or anything, I'm sorry we weren't able to do that, but any follow-up questions, I might pick up one, if that's okay. Any follow-up questions, please reach out to us. You have our LinkedIn details, and you can do it. As Neil pointed out, ask us the questions. So we don't want you to do it in a wrong way, but let's at least tell you how not to do it rather than how to do it. So it's Christmas 4 weeks. Wish you and family all the good health and have a successful festive period. So that's it, done. But I'm going to pick up one question, if that's okay, if we're okay with the team here. So number one. This question got more thumbs up, so where do you think AI falls down in maintenance and planning? I think you already answered it, Mike. Any one-liner that you want to comment?
It can get it wrong. It's not necessarily going to be following the actual legislation. It's going to come up with an answer it thinks is right, not one that's guaranteed to be right.
Correct. So it gives you a starting point, but you should know whether that's right or wrong. That's where experience comes in. Good. Neil, this is interesting for you. Asset is not always a standardized term. Does asset mapping define this and filter out components or subsets? I know it's a very technical question. Like, how do we define an asset?
I think that's the complicated, that's the hardest thing, is defining an asset, because they are so different, or can be so different. So AI can help. I think image caption can help, and asset mapping can help. But it is a journey. I think, again, the advancements coming forward, it's getting better and better and better, and speed is coming. So I'd say at the minute it's probably a high variance of errors if you did it purely, but I think you'll find over the next 12 months you'll get much improvement.
Got it.
But I think it's a start, it's great.
I would ask this question to Gen AI, ChatGPT, or Claude, or Perplexity, or any AI tool that you're using, Bing or anything. How do you define an asset? Is it asset? Ask the same question and let me know what the answer comes through. So, does the panel, this is a broader question, and one more question and I'll stop. Does the panel have any suggestions for some entry-level admin task that could be undertaken with an estates and maintenance team for complete beginner users to start the AI journey. So somebody's totally new entering, here we go, you have, I'm going to buy you $20 of ChatGPT license. Go and add some value with it. What do you think they can do?
From experience, I've seen people that are brand new to AI, even just doing, I think you were saying about a roster or rota for
Yes,
a team,
yes.
uploading an Excel spreadsheet it may be on, give them some parameters, asking it to write your rota, it can do that. That's really powerful to people that would sit there and manually do it.
Get an Excel spreadsheet of all the work you did or your team did last month and ask it to summarize it. Say who were the most used people.
Yeah.
Things that you'd have to comprehend as a human and read
Yeah.
lots of things.
Yeah.
It can summarize that stuff.
Or
in
take that
seconds.
data and then say, write me a monthly executive reports.
There you go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Say that, yeah.
Make me a PowerPoint presentation.
Exactly. So that's it. This is the last, I think this is a technical question. I'm not sure if we could answer it, but we can try. How are you creating a bridge between lots of data sheets like SFG20 to asset list?
So, I mean, I think that's just by comprehending what the asset schedule is, or what the schedule is maintaining, and then converting and translating what an asset description from any old spreadsheet in any old weird format, try and standardize that and try and make a match. And that's basically using AI multiple times to do multiple little tasks to do things, and then having another one bring it all together. I mean, it's the perennial problem, but that's what we've been using it for.
Brilliant. That's it from us. Thank you very much for joining us live. And that's it. Thank you. Thank you, panelists. Thank you, audience. We'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks for watching. For more insights and updates, make sure to follow barchurain.com.